Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm Katie and today we're looking at some handmade watercolours from Etsy. I'd ordered these way back in July and I made a second order in August-September time from the seller Quartz. And I really wanted to try out handmade watercolours and pick a more earthy palette. I tend to favour your blues and purples and reds, so I thought this time let's go for some nice earthy browns and greens with a hint of a sort of reddy purple in there. Just your naturally earthy colours, I guess. I was also sent some additional ones as well as some dot cards. The pans you see on screen now are the original pans, and the ones that are in transparent pans are what I salvaged off the dot cards. I have 12 colours here. We have yellow ochre, Indian yellow, one called peachy, Indian red, natural umber, hematite, terra verte, I'm probably pronouncing that one wrong, an olive green. We have midnight violet. I have two magnetite colours, one called Lyri and one called Zion, and finally Spanish hematite glimmer. A few of these were sent additionally from the seller and I was really surprised. I think it's because I'd bought quite a few of them in one go. Now there's just one thing to note, I do believe these are made to order, so if you do decide to go and check out their shop, just bear that in mind when placing the order, and I will leave a link to the Etsy store in my description. So why haven't I done an unboxing of these? Well, there's a couple of reasons really. The first one being that these were a treat to myself and I just wanted to play around and get to know them a little bit first. I do share quite a lot of unboxings and creating with you guys, and I just wanted to do this for myself really before I shared them with you. I also wanted to be able to describe a little bit more in detail about how they work, and I wanted to try them on a couple of different watercolour papers as well. But hey, let's talk about the swatches on screen now, shall we? So even though these are quite earthy colours apart from the magnetite ones, I actually really like how they granulate and how subtle they are as well. They're not chalky to use, they don't dry chalky either. And some colours travel a little more than others. Now, with them being handmade, that means the pigments are crushed and hand milled as well, so they're all going to behave differently, and they're all made out of different minerals, which are also mentioned on the Etsy site. Now, this isn't a sponsor or anything, like I say, I've had these a little while now, and I just wanted to share them with you. Like I mentioned before, I managed to salvage the dots, and I've managed to put them into other containers, and these swatched beautifully as well. It was also nice to have a little preview of what other colours are available and to be able to swatch them for myself. I know quite a lot of handmade watercolour makers also offer dot cards, so if you're thinking of trying these yourself, maybe it's worth trying the dot cards first. It's a bit more economical and you're not quite committing as much cash. But all in all, I'd already swatched them out way before this video, but I did an additional one for you guys. So I decided to do a number of paintings here, and the first two are done in my Paul Rubens 100% cotton watercolour book, and it's a hot press. I used a wet on wet technique for the background, as well as a little bit on the body of the pine marten, which is this particular subject. I wanted to see how they would behave again on a different surface and how they would layer up as well. And it's kind of weird really, because they do feel like a watercolour to paint with, because that's what they are. But I don't know, there's something about them where I've got to know them. I mean, they're absolutely gorgeous to paint with. There's no surprises or anything there, and like I said before, they dry beautifully as well. When it comes to layering up as well, again, there's no problems there. The colours become more richer, and obviously depending on what's beneath them as well, that also has an effect. There's a little bit of opacity to them, but again, they're hand milled and hand ground. There's only so much a human being can do, and that's partially why I wanted these. And I absolutely love the earthy colours I chose. I am so glad that I gave them a try, really, and I think I might try and expand my handmade watercolour collection a little bit more in the new year. Now, I might have mentioned in one or two of the comments on videos where I've been asked if I'm trying this product or that product, and it's usually mainstream brands, and I don't mind doing that. However, I kind of don't want to be in a position where I've got so many materials and I'm just not able to use them and they're taking up space. And I don't want to be trying things for the sake of trying things. Something's really got to be interesting for me to make that purchase, which is why these stood out to me. I thought for this painting we would go with mushroom, so something with a bit more of a smoother surface, you could say. And again, I absolutely loved working with them. The colours were just gorgeous and they blended into one another really nicely, so if there was a painted area and I introduced another colour into it while it was still wet, it just worked beautifully. I also found that they were lovely to do details with a fine brush. Even though the particles are slightly bigger, it wasn't at the cost of being able to add details. It was just lovely. I really enjoyed working with these. The paints themselves as well, it's so weird to say this, but they smelt so nice. They are preserved using local honey to the Etsy seller, as well as clove oil to preserve them too. And I've had them, like I've mentioned, quite a few months now, and when I open the tin where I keep them, it just smells lovely every time, and I like that. I can find sometimes with more familiar brands, and this isn't a criticism, you know, everyone's got a different formulation, but sometimes they can smell a little bit artificial, and that's okay. That's part of it. I mean, I've worked with alcohol markers and they stink. That it's not really an issue as such. But to be able to open up a tin of paints which has been made by a human being, and again, it sounds so weird talking about the smell of them, but for them to just smell really nice and really natural, it just makes it a more wholesome painting experience. For the painting you see in front of you now, I thought I would try a more loose approach to applying the paint. I did a lot of wet in wet techniques on here, and again, they just merged beautifully. I absolutely loved it, and when it came to making areas a little bit more vibrant, they layered up amazingly. The paper I used here was the Handmade Anniversary Edition 425 GSM paper, which has a slight texture to it, and that really complemented the paints as well, because those particles had something to sink into, and again, the granulation as a result of that. Oh, it was just beautiful. I mean, I really enjoy these paints. So have any of you lovely lot tried any handmade watercolours, and what are your thoughts on them? Do you like them? Are they part of your staple art supplies? Or are they a bit of a treat that you just like to get open to just do a leisure paint, we'll say? I'm also thinking of perhaps purchasing a few more, again just because they're unusual and it would be nice to add to my handmade watercolour collection. Would you be interested in a video where I explore these a little bit more? Anyway, I need to mention as well, I was going to do the upgrade video today. It is Christmas Eve as I am doing this voiceover. But because it is Christmas Eve and it is the day I received the upgrade, I quite simply haven't got the time. I am playing Santa Claus and delivering presents, as well as wrapping presents and just getting everything ready for a nice relaxing break over the holiday period. However, once that has passed, I will get that upgrade video done soon. So if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on that. I've also picked up another box which I said I'd never get again, and if you want to see what that is, there will also be a video coming up soon where I unbox and create with that. But let's get back to the painting. So I am layering up now with some details using similar colours that I used beneath. And I was able to create some really nice loose free strokes with this, which was in keeping with what I had done in the background. I was able to create some very, and again I don't want to use the word transparent because I wouldn't say they were fully transparent, they had a semi-opacity to them, but I was able to get some nice translucent layers in there. The colours I got were gorgeous as well for defining form and shadow and just adding that outline as well. They did lift a little easy if teased with the brush, and that's okay because sometimes you need to smooth out them lines a little bit. However, if I did accidentally get some water on somewhere that had dried, I wouldn't say it was going to bring it all back to life and ruin your painting, so that was quite good to know. But if I did want to move that paint with a little persuasion with the brush, that was possible. I've actually really enjoyed painting animals and nature just lately as well, and I really enjoy sharing it with you, and I really do hope you guys enjoy me doing these. I know I'm usually creating a character or a dragon, and I will be continuing with the Himmies very soon. Again, let's just get Christmas out of the way with. But would you like to see more nature-based paintings as well? I'm probably going to do them off camera, but if you want me to stick a camera in front of it while I'm painting, I am more than happy to share that and the thought processes behind, and maybe just a little chat. I do feel like maybe I've waffled on a little bit on this video, as it is quite a long one, so if you're still here, thank you so much. I just didn't want to speed up the painting process too much on here. I do sometimes think that if I get it too quick on screen, you're kind of missing bits on how the paint flows. And I don't know, I kind of like to relax into these videos a little bit more just lately, so perhaps slowing the speed down and having a chat whilst I go along is not a bad thing. Although if you have any feedback regarding that, again, I do appreciate it. Anyway, this is my little video on handmade watercolour paints. If you've enjoyed this video, please give me a like and don't forget to subscribe. And if you celebrate Christmas, have a very beautiful day tomorrow. And for everyone else, have a happy holidays. See you soon. Bye.